Hello everyone and welcome to Clickheads. I'm Eddie the Chump and today we're going to be talking about Project A and some amazing new screenshots that were seemingly released ahead of schedule today on IGN's Southeast Asia website. With March 2nd being pretty much confirmed as a big content drop for the game, which is tomorrow, it's no surprise that leaks like this can happen as time differences can mess with release windows for time-gated content. Slasher, who anyone who pays attention to the esports scene in general will know, has been tweeting quite a lot about Project A/Valorant in the last few days, saying sources confirmed that Riot will be releasing more information and details of the beta on March 3rd, and that Riot is flying out a large amount of big-name pro players and streamers from all types of games, ranging from CSGO to League to Fortnite to Overwatch in the middle of March. He goes on to correct the date to March 2nd in the following tweet, and also had this to say about Riot activating the @PlayValorant Twitter and Twitch pages here. Confirmed, Riot's 5v5 competitive tactical shooter with magic and stuff, codenamed Project Ares, is now officially named Valorant. Riot has activated the Twitter and the Twitch channels. Interestingly, that Twitter has been unverified, as Slasher points out. Perhaps that's because schedules got a bit mixed up on when the go button was pressed, just like these screenshots. Speaking of which, I'm sure this was just an oversight, as Southeast Asia is ahead of PST and GMT by quite some distance. None of that matters to us though. We can peruse these images to our heart's content and see exactly what secrets they contain within them. There's 8 screenshots in total, and I'm just going to go through them one by one and break them down. Sound good? Okay, cool, let's jump straight in. Let's begin with this one. The actual file is called First Look Dragon Valorant, and I think it's safe to assume that Valorant is the actual name of Project A at this point. All of the other files contain this name too, plus the whole verified then unverified thing on their Twitter. The first thing that will immediately draw your attention is that Viper is carrying a hip-level light machine gun. Now, the fact LMGs are in the game shouldn't come as too much of a surprise. CSGO has them, with the Negev being perhaps the most infamous example, and if I had to guess, they will perform a very similar role in Valorant. Cheap, inaccurate bullet hoses. I don't want to say meme weapons, but kinda meme weapons. I could be wrong, they could be the meta, but I'm assuming not. Now, under Viper's feet, there appears to be some ice-like material on the floor. I'm guessing this is the slow effect, or freeze, that playtesters have been talking about. I also think this is Sage's slow orb, as on the right-hand part of the screen, we can just about make her out. I mean, I think it's her. It looks like she's standing on her own wall ability, or at least a box just behind it. I'm just trying to put 2 and 2 together here. Another thing that I think is relevant is that there is a clear difference between the two weapons' bullet trails in this shot. Viper's LMG has traces, you can see it hitting Sage's wall, but Sage looks to me to be firing some sort of laser weapon, as the beam, although broken in parts, is almost a complete straight line above Viper's head. Now, this is something that returns in other images, so I don't think I'm off base here, and that's something that CS definitely doesn't have. Thinking a little deeper, if there are lasers in the game, there will probably be a distinct gameplay function of those weapons. Perhaps it's more effective against armor, or has a side effect, like glare on your vision when you're getting hit by it. These are both quite potent ideas, and perhaps that's a little bit too much. They might simply not have the same ammo economy as traditional ballistic weapons, like they have a charge that heats up and can be managed, allowing the players to have effectively infinite ammo if they do manage that effectively. If that's the case, then perhaps they're a little weaker in terms of damage numbers. These are just guesses, obviously, but I wouldn't be surprised if they work this way if they are in the game. Now, as far as the setting of this shot goes, I think the level is beautiful and clearly influenced by Eastern design. I have to be real though, in these sort of games, the shape and flow of the maps matters much more than the aesthetics, lovely as they are, at least in my opinion. Where the bomb sites are is more important than it looking pretty, is basically what I'm trying to say. Moving on to this next image, there's quite a lot going on. There's a distinct Dust 2 feel to this map for me, and we can clearly see Viper and Hat Dude in either corner. Hat Dude looks like he's prepping up one of his abilities with the glowing blue aura of his left hand. There's a faint blue trace line in front of him between the wall and the box in front, and if I had to guess, Hat Dude has just laid a trip mine of some sort. Now, I wouldn't expect this trip mine to be lethal. Who wants to play against claymores in a game like this? I mean, I could be wrong, but I hope I'm not. What I think is more likely is that this is some kind of snare, whereby if you walk through it, you get caught in some kind of field. That's why the Hat Dude player is lurking around a corner out of sight. In the center of the image, there is a smoke that has cut off a lane to the area that this team is attacking, and in the left-hand door, there is an enemy player using a character we haven't seen in game yet. They look to be using a waist-height weapon, and from what I can tell, this could be this character. Now, there's 2 things things here that I want to draw your attention to. Firstly, there's more of those possible laser trails coming from this character towards Viper, or it could be the trace of Viper's weapon towards them, which I think is a sniper. Snipers having a straight line trace effect is quite common now to let other players know where snipers are, think Widow from Overwatch, amongst many others, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's what this is. But above this character, there's a very obvious airdrop coming into land. I assume this is their ability just because of its proximity to them, and what do drops usually contain? That's right, loot, or something of shared use if it is in fact a defense item. This could be powered up weapons, deployable turrets, extra armor, etc. The possibilities are endless. A deployable turret as regular utility might be a bit much, but as an ultimate, I can see that happening, especially if you're alone on a site and need to cover many angles of attack. Torb in Valorant confirmed. Now moving on to this image, there's a ton of stuff to unpack. Firstly, a magnum pistol in the player's hands. We could be looking at the Valorant Deagle, people. At least I hope that's what it is, and it's not like the revolver from CS. Ugh. Just to the left of the player is another new character, which I think you can easily say is this guy from the Sage screenshot a few days ago. He's hiding behind a box shooting upwards at the guy in the window, but what I really want you to look at is this airstrike type thing going on over here. This looks to be very similar to how Gibraltar's or Bangalore's abilities work from Apex Legends, except with a very narrow field of effective damage indicated by the downward laser effects and ground-based reticle. If you look just below the guy in the window, there's another character who looks to have a visor up and a yellow glow in their right hand. I think this is the character calling in the strike, which tells me a few things. One, ultimates, which I assume this is, are channeled, and when you call them in, you're likely to lose control of your character, just like Sage's Resurrect from the teaser footage. And two, the visual representation of these abilities is obvious on screen for all to see, so players can attempt to counterplay. It wouldn't surprise me that even when targeting an area, enemies know that you're looking at them. Think Doomfist ult from Overwatch. Good to know. Now I want to talk about this image a little bit, because as many CS fans will attest to, there is nothing more satisfying or BM than getting a backstab kill. A right-click knife to the back in Counter-Strike is a one-hit kill, and although rare, is where players get to show off their fancy knives from loot boxes. This knife is quite plain, but if I had to make the easiest guess in the universe, there will definitely be cosmetic upgrades in this game for exactly this kind of scenario. Poor Hat Dude, he's always getting wrecked in the footage and screenshots we see. I do also want to draw attention to the hands of the player about to get that backstab. This looks like a character we haven't seen before, and under the wrapping of their arms, there's this kind of blue light energy creeping through. The gloves are also fitting of an assassin type character, all angular and stealthy. I think this is a spy character, perhaps with abilities to help them get behind people without noticing. Making their footsteps silent, for example, could be part of their utility. I think I just found my main. I also think this is the character who was locked in the Sage screenshot. That silhouette looks suitably stealthy and stabby. The other screenshots I'm going to talk about a bit quicker, because I couldn't really find much new that we hadn't already seen, but they're still interesting nonetheless. In this one, which is named B-Site, we see Viper and Sage in a window attacking another player in the opposite doorway. You can't make out exactly which character it is, but you can notice Viper's poison grenade to the left and Sage's slow orb ice on the floor. If this guy's being slowed down while two people peek him from mid, he's dead, let me tell you that much. There's also on the wall to the right a graphic of the map in the game. That's helpful, if a little redundant once people learn it for real, and it looks to me as if this is one of the maps from the teaser footage we've all watched like a billion times by now. This next image is quite clearly the stealth character and this guy attacking Dash in a courtyard. It's hard to tell if this is a different map than what we've already seen as it's so close in, but it does look amazing, great lighting and colours. There is the presence of the long straight tracer round flying past our character's head. This next shot is kind of similar, but this time Sage and Hat Dude are taking a fight with Dash, and this time it's kind of more obvious that Dash is using a sniper if you zoom in, so I'm just going to assume that that's what these tracers are moving forward. I don't hold out much hope for Dash here, whiffing an AWP shot against two AKs at close range. She's dead. That's an Eddie sniper play right there. Now this shot does show us something new, I guess. It's the first time we've seen this character from the first person view. You can tell by the hand models. They're with Viper, she's walled off an angle, and they're taking a fight with the defender of Reactor A. This map looks great actually, very DE Nuke from Counter-Strike, but there's not an incredible amount more to see. And unfortunately, just like that, that's all the images covered. I wish there were more, but we probably have a lot coming tomorrow anyway, so it's not that long to wait. Personal highlights for me would be the stealth backstab character, Hat Dude lurking behind his trip mine, and the airstrike ultimate. The less I say about Sage and her slow orb ice freezing nonsense, the better. That, friends, is going to tilt me, I can already tell. Let me know what you think about these images and how I've broken them down in the comment section down below. A really hope you enjoyed the video. If you like the content on this channel, please hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon so you get notified when we upload. Until next time, which is probably tomorrow,